Hi, Peter Boyles. Welcome to another episode of what's become really a great show. It's called The Shoot. And we put this together, I keep saying 6 months ago, and that's probably right, 7 months ago, with Mark Crowley, the one and only. And we've done this now every week with people like Tom Tancredo have sat in here, Rich Wyatt sat in here, all kinds of folks from the world of sports and guys in talk radio, media guys and politicians. And luckily, as things have it, a couple of, right before the holidays, I'm here on Saturday morning doing a radio show, 9 to noon after Jimmy. And this man has been a friend for, when did we first meet? I was thinking about driving over this morning. When did we first meet?
Probably about 8 years ago, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
How did we meet?
Well, we met because I was running for Congress in Denver.
Okay.
In Denver, yeah.
And I was working at KHOW, I think. It had to be longer ago than that when I met you. But I mean, at Mox Nix.
Yeah.
And now he's been through, the war of all politics in Colorado, elections and, revitalizations and everything that's happening now. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking to myself, Casper, because the well-known substance has hit the electrical convenience in the Republican Party. Not that it hasn't before.
Right.
But,
again.
Yeah, again.
Yeah.
So I was New Year's Day or the day after New Year's, I said, you got to do the shoot. Mm-hmm. Kind enough to be with us, the one and only, Casper Stockham. Thanks, man. Really,
yes,
it means a lot. Two old ball-headed guys.
Mine is intentional.
You're a shaver.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, become that way.
Right.
Overview. I think people, I do the story, the life story, which I think is an amazing story, and then tell the audience, looking back,
My life story?
Yeah. What are we watching happen?
Okay. So I grew up on the East Coast in Connecticut in a very liberal, progressive household.
What did your dad do for a living?
He worked for Maclet Laboratories and Sikorsky's lab.
All right.
And he was a purchaser, I think, or something like that. And he was very heavily involved in politics. In fact, he ran for Congress, he ran for state senate, he ran for the he was on the Board of Education, and he was a Democrat. And he was so excited when Jimmy Carter was in the running because we had family in Georgia. So I remember getting in the station wagon and going to Plains, Georgia to just to see Jimmy Carter's house, right? So that was a big deal for him. I went into the military early, into the Air Force, and when I went in, I was steeply in the mindset of progressive liberalism because that's what I grew up with. I didn't know any Republicans. All I knew was Democrats. And I went into the military, and it's a long story, but I became super conservative. Way conservative. So conservative I couldn't vote for anybody. Nobody was conservative.
What do you think the transition was? I mean, I think people transition, but what was
I know
yours?
exactly what it was. Yeah. So Reagan took office, and I was in a training program for officers that allowed for minorities to stay in the program with low grades. So you can get D's and F's or whatever you want to do. You can come in and come and go as you please, as long as you were a minority, you could pass. And Reagan took office, one of the first things his administration did was cut that program. He said, "What? That's stupid." Yeah. And I was so mad, boy, I was hot. But I was in class. I never heard the instructor because I was angry about what Reagan did, those racist Republicans. And I caught myself in mid-thought, and it was like, yeah, but you're in class. You're getting good grades. I mean, what's the problem? I'm like, well, no, And then I realized, I said, no, I'm fine. I just have to pass. And if I pass, like the guy next to me who's white, and the other guy over here is Asian, as long as I pass, I'm good. I'm like, yeah, but, so I just got past all the yeah buts. And then I realized it's me. It's up to me to pass, and it's up to me to do whatever. And I started looking at all these programs that they have well intentions, I believe, but they don't really help. Because
the road to hell.
Yeah, exactly. So if you keep feeding people, they have no need to strive to try to get food. And that's what's happening. So I just backed away from all of that. And I became so conservative because of that. So I'm a Reagan Republican, really, because that's what
he changed me too.
He changed
a lot of people.
But I never really became a Republican. I just realized that the Democrats were crazy. So
now.
Yeah. So fast forward to 2012. I'm unaffiliated, but I'm very conservative in my everything that I do. And I'm watching the 2012 election with Romney and all this stuff. And Herman Cain comes in town. This is after he dropped out of the primary because he got attacked or whatever. So he comes in town and he buys, he holds a luncheon. There's 150 people in the room. There's 4 black people, including Herman Cain.
I met him too when he.
I met him 3 times, and I don't know if we had time to talk about that, but he came in town, he had this luncheon, he said, we all have to vote. And I'm like, you have lost your mind. I'm not voting for Romney.
Yeah.
He's not conservative enough for me. So I went up and shook his hand and took a picture, and he grabbed my hand and he wouldn't let go. And he pulled me in. He said, young man, we all have to vote. I'm like, dude.
Had you expressed to him?
No,
okay.
no. I was like, who told this guy I'm not voting? I'm not voting for Romney. But Herman Cain says vote. So I voted, 10:30 our time, it was over, like real quick, right? So those things either make you bitter or they make you better. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, well, I guess I'm into this politics thing. You know, my dad was in it, so now I'm in it.
Was your dad still with us when you became conservative?
No, he passed away in '86.
Okay.
Now my mom, when Trump came down the escalator, my mom voted for Barack Obama twice. When Trump came down the escalator, she said, that's my guy.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
yeah, in that moment,
yeah.
Well, a lot of women, we know now, we can look at things, a lot of women, regardless of skin color or whatever, did not like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of factors in how Donald Trump won and how Donald Trump lost. Women voted against him the second time.
Right.
But by and large, women did not like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Now, that's interesting. Your mom did that.
Yeah,
sure.
she was, and she got a chance to vote for me when I was running in Congress because she lived in Denver.
Sure.
So yeah, it was that was a good time. So that got me into the political arena.
Where were you stationed when you got out of the Air Force?
Oh, I've been so I was stationed in North Dakota.
Right.
I was stationed over in Belgium. Okay. Loved Belgium. Oh. I got to travel all throughout.
Were you a NATO guy when you were there, or part of NATO?
We were part of NATO. Yeah. In fact, I was a part of the medium-range missile deal. So when right before the wall fell and Reagan said, hey, you know, we're going to outspend them kind of deal, I was a part of the base that was building up for that. And then as soon as they did the treaty, they said, okay, guys, we're out. And they asked me where I wanted to go. And that's rare because normally they say where you want to go and they send you the opposite direction.
Exactly. Yeah. So, give me a list.
Yeah, I said, you asking me where I want to go? Are you sure? They said, yeah. So I said, I want to go to Colorado Springs. I want to go to Peterson Air Force Base. And I came here in '87. Okay. Never left.
Do you think Reagan could win today?
Mm-mm.
See?
No.
What does that say?
No.
Because he changed me. Mm-hmm. And I always say,
it's a different time.
We need a man like Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, it's a different time. And I know, you know, we probably would disagree on this, but Trump came about it was a time for him in 2016. And I wanted another 4 years of that.
Yep, I voted for him as well, both times.
I wanted 4 years of that. So,
but it's really been this last 2.5 years that's been destructive.
Yeah.
You know, had he done all of the above,
had he done the presidential thing and just said, you know what, all right, whatever, walk away, yeah. But you know, there's I don't want to go down this path either, but you know, there's a lot of questions. People have questions, and when you leave stuff festering for too long, it doesn't go away.
They only have questions because of the lies. And there are people called true believers. And I witness it daily, monthly, yearly.
But I channel Reagan when it comes to that. I say, look, I trust you, but I want to verify.
Of course.
Trust but verify.
But that goes throughout history. But this is predicated on nothing. There is zero evidence. And Donald Trump began to lie even prior to that terrible night. And now the stuff we're coming out, we're talking, is Sean Hannity, Donald Trump's bitch. I mean, we talk about fake news. That's fake news, Casper.
It's all fake news.
Well, no, I'm saying, but Fox News is fake news. We have fake talk now.
But I never looked at Fox as being anything other than a news source that leans right. And then I looked at CNN.
We know it's deeper than that. The Murdoch-Trump relationships and what happened that night when they called Arizona. And then most people now believe that they began to lie on Fox to get the ratings back.
Right, but I'm saying CNN was lying too, and so was MSNBC, and so was CNBC. They all lie.
But Thomas Jefferson schools us. Knowing is your responsibility. It's not theirs.
Right.
They are going to do what they're going to do. It's like this show or down the hall or across the street.
Right.
but it's your job. But
Absolutely.
people that become part of Q and all that craziness.
People are lazy and they go to the path of least resistance. So if they can just turn on their tube and kick back and listen to what's coming through.
So now, I mean, and you are the one announced, the once and future king.
The one and only right now.
Arthur, I'll pull this sword from the stone and we will go ahead with this. It's insanity right now. I'm sorry, man. And I saw you, the last time I saw you, you came in and did Jimmy show, and we sat out in the news tank, you and I said, stay the hell out of the back of those pickup trucks. I mean, I'm watching that insanity, and then you get up and I'm going, it's my guy in the back of them. What the hell was that about?
Well, what it's about is that every cycle.
Tell the people about back of the pickup truck. Maybe they.
So there's a group of patriots that are upset.
Cough.
No, well, I mean, look, every year we keep losing, and we lose worse and worse every year. So what happens is over time, people just get more and more frustrated. Every time there was a loss, there are groups that would call me up and say, hey, can you come in and listen, and can we just brainstorm and figure out what happened? And we do this every 2 years. And every 2 years we elect a new chair as well, because and but this time people were madder than before. So a lot of that was pent up frustration over the past 6 years of just losing. Should they have said what they said? I wouldn't have said it, and I didn't say it.
I understand that, but I told you this. My grandma was from Ireland, and she had this line where kids growing up. She said, "If you fly with the crows, you're going to get shot at."
Yeah.
And when you got in the back of that truck, I mean, you're my guy, and I'm going.
But Peter, I've been face to face with Antifa and BLM. I went and spoke at the Capitol against the mayor. It was a Democrat crowd and a Democrat situation, but I was there.
Yeah.
I'm anywhere I can be to share a message that I think needs to be heard by the people. So I don't care if it's the back of a pickup truck, if it's on a box.
I'm going to come back to this idea of being a patriot. After the French Revolution. Then and after the Soviet Revolution, they were comrades. There was a jacketed name that they would give, and this is now patriot. And there's people that.
One man's terrorist is another man's patriot.
Always is. Or one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter.
Yeah, exactly. So I understand their frustration, but I understand the establishment's view as well. Because I've heard Dick Wadham speak, and I've heard him attack people as well. So I'm like,
well, but after the French Revolution, they cut everybody's head off, and everybody becomes a citizen. No, I'm saying that's please. And now I hear patriot. Are you a patriot? I don't know what that means. I don't even know what a rhino is anymore. Well, and I get called it all the time.
I was telling George, I'm called a rhino now because I had the nerve to support Heidi in her race, and I had the nerve to be elected to the executive committee by Christie. Right? Yeah. She elected me to the committee, so now I'm a rhino. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Steve Reams, Sheriff Reams, who was one of the names in contention. Yeah. Reams and I are really good friends. We ride motorcycles together and talk. Reams is the most conservative Second Amendment, First Amendment. He says Trump lost. You're a rhino. I said, so a rhino is a guy that doesn't want to believe the lie. That's my definition. That's my definition. So how does all of this insanity end? I don't see it ending, by the way. But
I do.
You do?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I do because I am going to reach into my inner Reagan and pull that out and say, look,
Dutch.
Say, look. There are 80, at minimum 80, there's probably 90% of the stuff we agree on. So I, as a chair, I'm going to focus on those things. And then there's going to be the fringes that say, no, look, I get all that. But as a chair, we're going to focus on these things. And from the top leadership position, if I just stick with that and stick with the basics of the Constitution and the platform of the Republican Party, which are awesome, and the bylaws, which need some work, if we stick with those things and we get into the community and start doing good works and so forth, all the stuff's in my plan, we will change things around.
I spent yesterday with Chuck Monowell, and Chuck and I are great friends, and they're all into ballot harvesting. He said it wouldn't matter, and I have this. Although I've never spoken to him about it, I said I could take a man who, Dave Logan. If Dave Logan wanted to be governor. I swear, and we've never had a conversation about it. Dave Logan, with the right tools and the right people around him, I don't think he needs anybody, but he could become the next governor. I said, Chuck said, well, it won't matter because they'll harvest you. And I said, so what you're saying is all is lost.
So I believe as well. That
And Dave's only one example of
I'm just saying,
a dozen guys. Yeah.
But if we take Dave as an example, I agree with you that he could easily be a governor, depending on what letter he puts on the end of his name.
It's not true. Dave could run as Dave. I mean, when Eisenhower makes the decision, he never really voted.
I know, but until you put that, when you're okay, because Trump was loved, I mean, adored by the black community. I mean, like hugging on him, calling him up for money. Al Sharpton's in his office. Al, dude, are you back again for another check? Yeah. Until he came down that escalator, then as a Republican, that's when they had a problem with it.
But the Republican Party had dwarfs. And Trump singled them out and shot them down. Low energy jab. Yeah. He took Ted Cruz, made fun of what his old lady looked like, and said your father was killed Castro or whatever the hell it was. Yeah. And I'm going like, and then that guy's up there hugging on him. I'm going, say that about my family. See if I'm standing on stage and hugging. But that shows me Cruz. But I'm saying that there are men and women in this state right now. What about the mayor's race? You live in Denver. I mean,
I don't live in Denver.
Oh, did you move out of Denver?
No, I've never lived in Denver.
I thought you did.
I live in Centennial.
Okay.
So I've run in Denver twice.
That's what I thought.
And DeGette tried to say, well, you don't live in Denver. How can you represent? I'm like,
you weren't going to beat her.
well, no, I know. But she's like, well, how can you even run? I said, because I'm in Denver more than you are. I mean, you're in D.C.
Come on, DeGette.
Yeah.
When's the last time you ever saw her?
Nobody's seen her.
Nobody's seen her. Yeah. Maybe she's gone. You don't know.
No, she.
No,
she
no.
I
mean,
she wanted to be speaker, but they put Hakeem Jeffries in there.
He's going to. Well, but all these things are smart. The Democrats are smarter.
Pelosi saw the handwriting on the wall. She said, "You know what? It's time for me to step down." She's not leaving D.C. for a while. But she's become, her and her husband have become extremely wealthy in the whole process. You know, she eats ice cream every night.
Oh, yeah. Lyndon Johnson never had a job. I mean,
life is good for them.
Yeah. I mean, So how do you straighten it out?
Again, we straighten it out by going back to the basics. I'm a big fan. I'm not a big sports fan, but I like the strategy of
if Peyton Manning decide to run for governor or senator, could he win?
Nope. Not as a Republican. If he ran as a Democrat, yeah, he'd win.
If Elway ran after he retired?
Nope. If he ran as a Democrat. Today, in Colorado, the system is not set up for a Republican to win statewide ever again unless we change. We have to change, and that's what I'm.
I mean, I heard this yesterday at lunch. When I said, and again, I've never spoken to Dave Logan about it, but he's my shining example. Peyton Manning. I'd give you a dozen guys, and they can't win.
Not right now. They will be able to win. Even our friend Eric Outland, he raised $1.5 million. He had a tremendous ground game, everything else, but it doesn't matter. Joe O'Dea, it didn't matter. You had to.
See, I think Eric had a shot, and they didn't take the right shot. I think he could have done well.
He could have done some different things, but the
and
problem.
O'Dea sat here. First time I ever met him, talked to him once on the phone. He was a crib death. They killed him. He was stillborn. Well, and you know who did it? The Republican Party.
No.
Sure they did. Come on.
Well, it depends on what you mean by the Republican Party.
The Assembly, the Republican Party, the crazies, whatever you want to call them.
So
they killed that guy.
I was at the Assembly, and his name never came up because
he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
So
but he knew better than to go.
Okay, but we didn't kill him at Assembly. He didn't even go to the Assembly.
But who did you guys put up?
They elected Ron Hanks out of Assembly and so forth.
And what did Mr. Hanks do besides shoot adding machines or whatever the hell he did? But they put up Tina Peters. They put up, these are the people. Come on.
I voted differently. Okay, so
my respect for you is there, but I'm talking about the people that killed O'Dea.
But they didn't kill O'Dea. All they did was they voted at Assembly because he wasn't there. Now, had he been there and he
still wouldn't have voted for him. Not that
I know, but then you could say that they killed him because he was there and they shot him down.
They killed him after
he went through the petition route, so he was going to be on the ballot regardless. So they didn't kill him.
They still they're behind what happened to Christie too. They went after Christie Burton Brown too.
All the Republicans and unaffiliates got a chance to vote for Joe O'Dea, and that's why he became the nominee.
Come on, they destroyed those people. I watched them do it.
he did enough on his own to help that.
I think the Trump thing, I think, was a Hail Mary. I think he's down in points, even though radio people are saying it's tight, it's close. No, it wasn't. It was never close.
I was called a rhino because I went on social media and said, I'm not all that excited about the pro-choice decision of Joe Day. However, I'm going to vote for Joe Day because he's on the ballot.
I voted for him.
Yeah, I voted for him. I did too.
And we sat in here and talked about it. And again, going back to watching voter behavior, the minute that leaked on Roe Wade, across the country, literally, from my reading, millions of women young women, went and registered to vote. Yeah. Right on the wake of that.
And it's bizarre because here in Colorado you can literally have an abortion up to birth. And but see, that comes down to why we keep losing. So let me get this out and then we can my overview of why we keep losing is we have a PMI problem. PMI. We have a purpose problem, we have a message problem, and we have an image problem. Some would blame the image on Trump and others or whatever. But again, that's our problem. When the Republican Party was formed, we were formed to end slavery. That was the purpose. That was a strong purpose. In the 60s, it was about civil rights. The Republican Party was the party that fought for civil rights.
Dixiecrats were all the Klansmen. They were Democrats. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So, but now nobody knows what our purpose is. We don't really have one other than to say, no, don't do that, stop that, put that down, leave that alone. That's our purpose.
I have this thing where somewhere Republicans are thinking people are having a good time and they got to stop it.
Right.
They were.
Yeah. Yeah. So
who's the one? Was it Marjorie Taylor Greene that said that Target was selling sex aids? And this is a woman who's banged like a couple
of guys
at the gym
club. But they were selling sex toys right next to it.
Yeah.
But they were selling dildos or whatever next to it.
So what?
Yeah.
I mean, so what?
I know, but that's what we're known for. So that has to be changed, and it's not going to happen overnight, but it has to be changed. That's the problem. The solution is what I call Operation OUST, OUST. So the O stands for outreach. I was on with Brother Jeff yesterday on the podcast. I go into the communities on a regular basis. They know me, but when I go in, I'm going in as Casper. I'm not going as the chair of the GOP. If I go in as the chair of the GOP, it's over.
Yeah, I know.
It's over. Things start happening in ways that have never happened before. So outreach, and I happen to know a lot about it. And then the U stands for unite. This is where we're like, how are you going to unite all this stuff? It's like herding cats, right? But if you focus on the goal and the 80%, yes, there's going to be the language on both sides. But if we focus on the goal, I think we're going to be able to get enough that are running that center lane to make a difference.
That's where the elections are won in the middle.
Right.
They're not. Right. I'm not. And the fringe guys can do a lot of damage left and right. Yeah. But the interesting thing, the Democrats tell their fringe guys, go in the corner, sit down, shut up, and they do it. Republicans, not a chance. They're coming.
Well, they don't just tell them to go in. They send them over there with some money when they go
either
over.
way.
Yeah.
You don't hear from them.
Right. Right. It's like Bernie Sanders. Every time he runs, he gets a new house.
Yeah. Oh, it's my guy. Right? You can look at him and go like, how'd you do that?
Yeah. He got a new house,
but he does it, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. So the unaffiliated voters, some have left. I think you mentioned this about a lot who left the Republican Party. A lot have left the Democrat Party, but they are watching both parties, and they don't see any solutions. And it's weird because we have really good ideas and so forth, but we don't know how to message them. We don't know how to get it out to the people. So unaffiliated voters look at us as the party of no, and they look at the Democrat Party as the party of yes. Yeah. So they say, I'm going with yes. I don't want to go with no. Yeah. Right?
I know.
So we have to become the party of yes. We have to start doing things, good things in the community to make a difference. Right?
I always said somewhere the Republicans are trying to find people having a good time.
They can stop it.
And they can stop it.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that.
I agree. I agree with that. So the S stands for support. I know as a candidate, I've been a campaign manager, I've been a campaign worker, I've been a campaign trainer, candidate trainer. I've been on the XCOM board member. So I've held a lot of these different positions, so I know that we're not supporting our candidates enough, our county chairs enough, and so forth. We've got county chair skirmishes going on all over the place. We got stuff happening in El Paso County. We got stuff happening in Jefferson County. And it's like,
where's the epicenter for crazy right now? Seriously. Is it?
Don't put me on the spot.
No, come on. I mean,
the whole state is the epicenter for crazy.
Okay.
Okay. We're all crazy right now.
You know what's interesting to me? Suddenly Tina Peters doesn't exist anymore.
She's not,
So Tina, no, never mind.
Yeah.
And it's like they tell, never mind, don't look at Tina anymore.
Yeah.
She's heading to the joint. But
yeah. And the T stands for training, so we have to get better at training.
I thought it stood for Tina.
No, we got to get Tina back in there.
I'm pulling.
We got to get Tina back in there.
Yeah.
It's training, and I was able to train like 60-something people. That's nothing. We need to train thousands, 6,000 people, so they can not just run for office, but they can also help candidates in their elections.
I was looking for a slogan for the Republican Party, and it's, you had enough, ... question mark. So far, they haven't. No. So far, the voting population in this country has not had enough.
Right.
And, you know, and all the lies and all the double talk and all the crap that goes with it is going to push you further in the hole.
Yeah.
Another one of my predictions is the Republican Party, I think, will become the majority House party. If they kill the January 6th committee, which they will do, it's going to cost them in November 2 years from now.
See, I don't want them to kill the committee.
No, I don't either.
I want them to tell the other side of the story.
Trump's welcome to appear anytime he wants.
Because I'm not talking about just Trump. I'm talking about the other
I'm
side of the
talking
story.
about Trump. He could appear before that committee.
There are hundreds of hours of video that they didn't show.
Come on.
They didn't. Look, I want to hear both sides.
Republicans were welcome to be on that committee, and only a couple of them said, yeah, look what happened to Cheney. They knew that the wrath of Donald Trump, and Trump, by the way, anytime he wants to show up.
Kevin McCarthy wanted Jim Jordan and some other guy on the committee, and Pelosi said no.
It was not rigged, and there were people that could have been on
I didn't say it was
committee.
rigged. No. I said, she said no. So she got it. She picked Kinzinger and Cheney.
Yeah. Well, Cheney wanted it.
Well, they both hated Trump, so it was like.
The point of it is, if the Republican Party would have taken the Irwin Committee, the Watergate Committee, and stomped it out, they would have. I mean, they recovered with Ronald Reagan, but they would have never recovered. And I'm saying the same thing. They're going to shoot this thing down, which they will.
I don't want them to kill the
No, I
committee.
don't. Please. But 2 years from now, 24, when Trump has been through all these different convictions, and they're going to say, why did these Republicans stop us from knowing the truth? And they're going to live with it. My prediction.
Okay.
See what happens. So, when does this vote take place? And they're out, what, March? The old guard out is
March
11th.
11th is when the election takes place.
Right.
So we only have a short period of time, but there's only a small amount of people who vote for the chair. It's only like 500 something folks. In fact, I think the number's going down because we lost so much. We're losing seats. So we're losing bonus members and so forth. I ran this race 2 years ago. I only had 45 days to run it. I was traveling all over. In fact, this week I'm in Weld County. Next week I'm in La Plata and Archuleta County. The week after that I'm in Custer County. So I'm all over traveling. I've got to call everyone personally and tell them my plan and my ideas. And then, but it's a short window and a short group of people. But I came in third last time. I threw my support towards Christie.
Yeah,
and I was hoping for some change. It didn't really happen. I'm not calling her names or anything like that. I think she did as best she could. But there are some things we could have done that we didn't do.
And a lot of things you got stepped on coming in too. I mean, I kind of watched that. My respect and love for you.
Yeah.
And I watched what they did, and but that's politics.
But see, okay. So even with that, all the stuff that they potentially did to me, I'm still willing to work with them to make sure it happens. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not bitter about it.
Will they work with you? I mean, that's really the question. Well,
I don't care if they work with me. I'm going to work with the ones who will, and there's plenty of them who will.
The great line from history again: "Among the blind, the one-eyed man is king." You see what happens. I wish you nothing but the best and support. I want to see you do it. Because I want to see you do it.
Yeah. When I'm chair.
I love you sent me that text. When I'm chair.
When I'm chair. I will make the phone calls to the folks, and they say no. That's okay. I'm gonna go on to the next person. So I've now been in contact with Steve Reams as well.
He's a good man.
So when I'm chair, I'm going to reach out to Steve or reach out to whoever will work with me. I'm going to work with them.
No. We'll see you back in March. We'll talk a lot between now and then.
Yeah.
And they say in a business, break a leg, man. Go get them.
Absolutely.
It has been The Shoot, everybody. Thank you to Mark Crowley and Brian Taylor and Kelly Michaels, and to this man, Casper Stockham. Take care of yourself. Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. We're on 710 KNUS. This coming week, there's been a lot of attention given to this young man, football player, who was injured badly. But what I think is they overkill him. They're doing so much about it. And if you look around, it's a contact sport. No one has died in that sport for 50 years on the field. And this is what you people want. They want the hits, and they want to show the hits and all this thing. Now you got it. What do you learn from it? I'll see you on the radio show, 9 a.m.
Can I
Yes.
get my website?
Say again, absolutely.
Website is CasperForColorado.com. It's Casper4, F-O-R, Colorado.com. I'm asking all Republicans to donate $10 a month to the local county party organization and $5 a month to the state GOP. If we did that, we would have more money than we would ever need to spend in any given election, and we'd start winning elections again.
That's why he's my guy. Mark, thanks. I'll see you Saturday morning at 9, every Saturday morning at 9, and through the week on The Shoot. Thank you. Happy New Year.